Well, hello, good morning to you. Wonder why I'm here? I'll tell you why I'm here. The reason why I'm here is I should have been here yesterday. Why yesterday? Because yesterday was supposed to be, according to my schedule, which I made up and thought was flawless. Whose schedule's flawless? You notice the lights are on. I didn't turn the lights on purpose because right now I'm actually recording at 7 o'clock in the morning. What was supposed to be eventually become the inaugural episode of my new channel. What channel is that, you may ask? Well, ask Buzz, he'll tell you. Buzz, what was the channel name? Doesn't know. But what it was supposed to be the new channel I was supposed to start to replace the long form videos I was recording under the channel that you see here, My Two Loonies, which is where this is going to be published. And this video will be repeated once the channel is open as the actual inaugural episode. It was supposed to happen February 1st, but did not happen February 1st. Obviously, it's February 2nd. What happened? Tell you what happened. Life happened. Why do I say life happened? Because life always seems to happen. Not just for me, not just for you, for everybody. Life always happens. Tell you what happens, okay? I am living my life, and we all have our lives. We have our agendas. We have all these ambitions and all things we want to do in life. Problem is, none of us can live truly in isolation of each other. Most of us think that we can. We can do it all on our own, and that's it. Tear in the pants. Don't have to answer to anybody. Don't have to tell anybody anything. You just do what you do when you do it, and then people either like it or they don't. Unfortunately, that's not the way things happen. Most of us live with someone. And my special someone is a woman named Monica I met about 8 years ago. Not too long ago. It'll be actually, not going on 9, I think. We met in 2017. August 2017, by the way. And it was like many of the meetings I had before with women online, and that's where I met most people, being a very shy, introverted person, not really going out there, not a party person, not a bar person. Was once a person that used to do things like that, go to the bar with my friend, play darts and that. Wasn't looking for anything to find. If I would have found something great, it would have been nice. But being very shy and introverted, as far as the whole social thing about women was concerned, I wasn't looking for that. Not that I didn't want it. Damn, I wanted it more than anything. I was a sexual person. I wanted to be able to experience what everyone kept telling me was love. Intimate relationships, partnership, family, etc., etc. So I went most of my life associated with my friend Robert, near the adult part of my life, the teenage, pre-adolescent adult part of my life. Spent a lot of time with him. And he and I grew together in some ways, and we grew apart in others. He eventually met somebody. Ironically, it was someone that was supposed to be met for me. Someone my father set up for me specifically because he thought because she liked computers, that since I love computers too, we'd be a natural fit. Turns out when I saw this woman at the karaoke that my dad was doing at the time, I had no interest in her at all. I wasn't physically attracted to her. I was emotionally attracted to her. I wasn't mentally attracted to her. But Rob was. He felt sorry for her because Dad had set her there to be there to speak to me. And my dad must have talked to her quite a bit because he was at the same restaurant. He used to hang around in his own community in the West End at the time. So he ended up talking to her. Eventually, over time, spend time together, more time together, more time together. And she spent a lot of time together where he was literally staying over there. He would eventually, over time, get her pregnant twice with 3 kids. One that was born before because she already had a daughter at that time from a previous relationship. And then later on, instead of fraternal twins, a boy and a girl, that would come later on in his life. His relationship with them was very strange because his mother did not really approve of her. Even though she was Catholic, she had a lot of things that her mother liked. And most mothers had this thing protective of their sons, and Rob's mom was no different. No different than any mother would be. So she kept him at arm's length, partly because after the fact was during this time her husband had died. And he being the eldest son, she became very attached to him and very dependent on him. And in a lot of ways, he reminded him, gives of his girth, like her husband knows, his father. And because of that connection, she treated him the same way because of being a good Catholic herself. She had separate beds. So having a relationship with a man that wasn't her husband, that didn't sleep with anyway, which according to her in the Catholic faith, didn't happen anyway after the 4 kids were born. Basically, sex was made for the creation of children, not for pleasure. That's the Catholic way. So having your son there take the place of that and being the last one there and seeming so totally dependent because he was insecure and all that already and all the kinds of bundle problems to begin with, and condoning his behavior and even allowing me to be part of his life as sort of a buffer between his not being with someone and not being with someone. And as much as I loved his mother, I also in some ways despised her because the fact was she was enabling him to be something that he never wanted to be if he would have had the confidence to be more. Just like I was in a lot of ways, held back. But I was held back for different reasons. I was held back by my own preconceived notions about what I was worth in life, what my self-worth was, my desirability in life was, and the fact that the lack of self-confidence. Even though I had plenty of things going for me, I was a fairly intellectual and still am a fairly intellectual person, not to think a lot. Sometimes I think too much. Sometimes I talk a lot because I have a tendency to want to talk because of this need to want to say all these things in my head and bring them out, hoping that maybe one of these ideas would be a great idea, like most people hope to have as far as intellectuals are concerned. Anyway, getting back to where all this started, the idea of this particular being supposed to be my all-wise wisdom. Gray hair, old man, so kind of a funny pun. And it harkened back to a time before this, when my business was starting a long time, well, not really a business, my first enterprise was called the Owl Wise Club. And how my dad drew a symbol of this very, very primitive owl, and OWW. And so it's kind of full circle a way of homage to pay tribute to the past, but also recognize the fact that the past was only a representation of what potentially could become the future. It always is. Everything goes in circles. Life does. The circle of life. I call it the circle jerk of life. Because really when you think about it, either you're circle jerking or you're making things happen. I didn't make things happen, unfortunately. Not the lack of trying, or in this case, doing. Another thing attempting to do in my life. Getting rid of that pesky word try. Getting rid of things like that. And not get trapped into things like expressions like circle back. Or top of mind. We've been hearing a lot of those in the media lately. Why? Because people in the media are lazy. Who knew they would be lazy? The fact is, everyone wants to make things and want to put the minimum effort to making them, and they want to be able to catch on to things that are popular. So expressions like top of mind and circle back became popular in the culture because of the time when they came in, and on the culture that came in. And the fact that they're very much part of what's called the liberal hive mind type of thinking. That if something sounds good, you just keep saying it enough times, and then people all around them saying it, and then for you just create a movement around expressions that nobody ever knows what they mean. And usually they're distractions from actually talking about what they really do mean and what they really want to actually say, because they don't have anything to say when people ask them questions. So in order to avoid asking questions, they'll say things, I'll circle back. Kind of sounds like interesting. I'll circle back to you whenever I have a chance to. And that never happens because they keep asking the question. They keep saying top of mind. It's on top of my mind right now. I'm thinking about a color. It could be blue? Who knows what the hell they're thinking about? Who knows what it is on the top of my mind? Really, the fact is, at the end of the day, there really is nothing on the top of their minds, and there's nothing to circle back to, because circle back and top of mind are just distractions away from having actually real hard questions. The hard questions that all of us have to answer sometimes. The hard truths that we don't want to admit. Just like the current financial and climate and economic crisis and the political crisis of our country. I'm just as much affected by that as anyone. Fact is, me being on this channel is my attempt to go out there and attempt to make a difference. Not to be a big star, but just to make a difference in a small way. To influence and inspire other people to do the same. And also an avenue to make a little bit of money. It's capitalism, baby. This is capitalism. This is all it is. So my outwaysism comes down to basically this. I'm here. I'm sitting in the basement. I've had my life full of ups, downs, good things, bad things, horrible things, and some relatively great things. Maybe more for me than anyone else. And I want to pass this wisdom on to you in a long-form video where I can just talk about them. Unscripted, unfiltered, just naturally me. My brother suggested having a script, like a lot of people say they have a script for things, and then make it a program, make it entertainment. Well, that will leave to my other channel, My Tunes Learn, where it will be a more scripted affair, where it will be about a specific topic, very concise, and it'll attempt to be more entertaining than informative, because Sometimes people learn things through entertainment. You retain things in your brain much more readily if you make them interesting and entertaining and quick and easy and dirty. Go in and out. A simple thing you can watch for like 5 minutes and you can move on to the next of your life because you got all these other things competing for your time, don't you? We all do. Circling back. I'm going to circle back now. I'm going to use the expression. I'm going to actually claim the expression for myself, and I'm actually going to explain what the expression really means to me as far as my understanding of it. Circle back means always coming back to where you began from. Being able to take something that may be a distraction and a tangent and finding a way to go back to where you originally started and what you were trying to start. Again, the word trying. I'm trying to get rid of it. I guess I had to come to terms with that the word trying is never going to totally leave my vernacular. It just can't. It's become so much there, just like the expression circle back has become the vernacular of people. And the other expression I said, that came from circle back and top of mind. Our expressions have become part of the vernacular of society now because they've been said by so many people. People will say them without even think about it, just like the word trying. How many times have you heard the word trying in your daily life? You went to somebody and said, how's that new thing you're building? Well, I'm trying to get it done. When you get it done, I don't know. I'll have it done next week. And the person comes next week and says, okay, you promised me next week and it's still not here. What's happened? Well, I'm trying to get it to work and it's not working. Well, try harder. Try harder. So I'm going to attempt to make a new vernacular. The word do. The more that it can be done. And if you're not can be done, you explain why it can't be done and figure out how it can be done, if it's even possible to do. And if it's not possible to do, the admission that it can't be done, or at least not done within the confines of the skill set and the resources you have it out. So, like I say, for example, this basement here, you don't see much of it. I have all these great, fantastic ideas that I want to try to do. Very, very much fanciful ideas. I've seen many of them on other channels. Of course, everyone wants to start a channel because it's now the new thing to do. I mean, YouTube, internet, you got people that are doing streaming, like the lad upstairs that lives with us. He's streaming and got this aspirations of being famous for streaming and making all this money because everyone else is. All these things, anything worthwhile in life, you're going to learn right off the bat takes a lot of hard work, time and effort, sacrifice. And most people don't want to do that. Most people want to take the shortcut. Maybe I'm the same way. Maybe a lot of ways I've been taking a lot of shortcuts in life. And I've realized now taking those shortcuts doesn't lead you to anything. Because what happens in the end, you end up getting all the failings and all the things, all the shortcuts you're taking will eventually catch up to you because they'll catch up to you because the fact is you'll find that the things you cut corners on in order to make things easier, more efficient, and quicker to do, to move on to the more fun, exciting stuff, eventually you catch up to you and you end up having to do them anyway. And sometimes they're hard to do if you would have taken the time and effort to do it right the first time. So I guess that's my main thing. Time management, doing things right the first time, emphasis of the culture, how easy culture can permeate into society, how easy culture can permeate into life. I mean, how the old saying, art imitates life, while life imitates art. So they work both ways. So on a note of that, this was supposed to be, of course, my final broadcast of Always Listen. So I guess this is kind of an Algorithm broadcast, but it's not being on the channel. It will potentially put on the channel when the channel will be built. And I hope many of you decide to come to this channel and look at it and learn as an opportunity to reflect and learn about your own all-wise wisdom. Yes, we all have a little bit of wisdom. We get it even when we're young. We start and build up. We have dreams and aspirations and hopes and ideas about things. Eventually, some of those dreams are becoming true, and we basically be able to make them dreams come true on our own. And some of them are things that will never come true because we realize in the end that they're too big of dreams for us to accomplish. Maybe not big enough dreams to be accomplished at all, but we have to realize our limits about what happens to do in terms of what our capabilities are, the resources we have around us. Not all of us can be light as tech tips. Not all of us can ever be it. I may never, ever in my lifetime get to level 100. It's likely. But if I can even get to 1/10 of success, 1/10 of his goal, enough to make a comfortable living. Because it comes back to my other question about what is happiness? How do you define happiness? You know, is it $1 million, $10 million, $20 million, $100 million? Is it Bill Gates type of wealth? Or is it Warren Buffett type of wealth? Or is it just Justin Trudeau wealth? Well, that's actually a funny one because he's probably got lots of money too. Not anywhere near those other guys do, but he has enough. And if he's dating Katy Perry, well, I kissed a Trudeau and I liked it. I don't know. Let's ask. We have to ask Katy Perry. We have to ask Katy Perry. You kissed a Trudeau, and what would you thinking about? Did you like it, or was the girl that you kissed the week before that much better? We'll never know. He'll never answer that question. Maybe someday somebody will ask the question. I kissed a Trudeau, and you did what? Did you like it? Did you not like it? See, tangents. Anyway, the whole point of what doing this recording, I'm coming downstairs to attempt to make, see, get the word attempt instead of try. Attempt is a little bit stronger. It's a little bit more forceful, a little more intentional. To make this recording for you. To be what would have been the inaugural recording of a new channel that I didn't actually set up completely yet, was an idea I created a while back with a logo I was generating through ChatGPT. And that was another thing I was want to talk about. The fact that a lot of us like to take shortcuts. And one of the shortcuts, ChatGPT and all these chat things, all these AI things, are great shortcuts and tools to help us get and augment our own existing creativity. But it's easy to trap to let them repeat and do all the work for us. I almost did that myself. I had a logo practically complete done using a chatbot, using Chat AI or whatever the ones. I can't remember which one it was. And I was going to put it up there. Unfortunately, one of the last iterations I had, the one that was the final one with everything done and everything complete on it, the file disappeared somewhere. And I thought to myself, oh, that freaking sucks. I lost all that work. But the fact was, only work I did was type a couple of commands on the computer, an augmentation, a set of commands, taking the existing work that the previous chat thing did, and do more changes and put more things. So I was a part of the creative process. Then the machine wasn't coming out and making it out of thin air totally. It had to have some inspiration. But as far as the actual output and creativity, it wasn't me at all. It was just based on suggestions of what I thought should be there, and it just did all the hard lifting. But the thing is that is that my creative work just because I inspired it? Just like the Mona Lisa was inspired by a woman like Mona Lisa. Does the work belong to Mona Lisa, or does it belong to Leonardo da Vinci, the artist? Does the inspirer own creative rights and license to work? Or does the work belong to the person, or in this case, the thing, AI, technology, artificial intelligence, that created it? And this is going to be the question that we're going to be hounding us for centuries as this transition from creative work done by people, creative work that's augmented by technology, and creative work that's completely and utterly manufactured by technology with maybe the inspiration of humans, and ultimately to a state where the technology just creates stuff on its own for mass consumption, and we just consume it and like it until the next thing comes along. And the AI becomes so intelligent, it learns what we like and what we'll want, anticipates our wants before we even do, so we don't have no involvement directly into it at all. That's the slippery slope that we're falling into. I think the simple shift should be this. AI is great, fantastic. I love it. It does have all kinds of things that it can do. It can outthink me. It can outthink everything because it's a mass of collective knowledge of a large number of individuals beyond myself. It's a larger brain than even my brain has. And it can make decisions much faster than I can as far as taking all everything and aggregating it based on my suggestions and input and influence to make something great. But at the ultimate day, it should be a tool that inspires creativity, not replaces it. Just like I don't think autotune should be used in music recording. It's the music of the singer and the inflection of the singer and the imperfection of that singer. Not totally, completely all over the place, but this sort of like gray area of a bit of imperfectness that informs the style and originality of artists. Something that means you can pick that artist out of any other person using the same voice and know that it's exactly who it is, and that's them. Would Willie Nelson exist in AI? Would Willie Nelson exist with autotune? Fuck no. Willie Nelson's voice is as raw and imperfect as it comes, but the fact is it's his style. That's part of his style. And that's why people like him. He sings off key. He sings offbeat. Autotune and autobeat correction and that would not tolerate or allow or create a Willie Nelson. Because his mission is not to do that. His mission is to create perfection. Musical perfection. Whatever perfection you want. And create prompt. When art gets reduced to totally prompt and the creative assignment of it's taken out of it completely in the name of selling something that people want to buy as consumer product. I'm not for that. I'm not for AI taking over. I know AI is a great tool to help and augment. It made the Beatles' last recording possible. The fact that it was able to take John Lennon's voice out of a mishmash of garbage on a tape that was never meant to be released anywhere for anyone's consumption ever was just the inspiration. It was the inspiration for the whole thing. It was the blueprint that would have become the work that John Lennon might have recorded had he lived. But he didn't. Life happens sometimes and gets in the way. And because of that life getting in the way, we ended up having to settle for what AI would eventually help to create, along with Paul and Ringo and parts of Stages of George that was left over from the sessions before that, where George more or less said this thing is crap, there's nothing more we can do about it. We've recorded the first two, we've done as much as we can do with the first two, this is the best we can get, let's move on and just call it a day. Unfortunately, George died before the technology caught up to the point where they could fix it. What would the recording would have been had George been there? What would the song have been if John Lennon wouldn't have died and recorded just like the Beatles were talking about doing just before his death? But what is was, just like this chance photo was. So what always was is basically looking back and reflecting on the past, taking a look at the present, reflecting on the future, and see how that all fits in together in terms from the context of my own personal experience, my own wise wisdom. Now, I'm not the only one that has wisdom. I clearly don't. I have my own perspective on things like everyone does. Some people might consider it wisdom. Some people might create idiocy. Some people might foolhardiness. Some people might fanciful. That's great. You all have opinions. This is the beauty of the technology. Technology has now democratized the means that everyone out there can express their opinion. Doesn't mean everyone will listen to them. Just like I don't make people listen to me. I think I'm at 6 or 7 or 10 viewers right now. But you know what? Maybe I'll have more eventually as people pass this thing around and say, hey, man, this guy's onto something. He's not talking about cars or radios or computers or movies or music or what. He's talking about a whole swath of topics at the same time. Unfiltered, uncensored, off the top of his head, honest communication. Not always about one specific topic, but at least talking about a general theme and keeping with that general theme as much as he possibly can in the confines of his whole human brain. My brain only has so much work. I'm 6 years old, damn it. And the thing is, my brain is failing. But before it fails, I like to be able to get some of that gray matter out there to people and express my opinion about things. And so I maybe have a discussion. So on that note, if anyone likes this channel, like, comment, and subscribe. Send your emails at info@intimemedia.ca, and I'll be more than happy to look at them. I'm hoping to get emails. I haven't got any yet. I've had comments on my channel before. Some comments, one of them was a really stupid comment about food. It had nothing to do with the video, but it was funny. So I responded back in kind and pretend to play along because what else can you do? Sometimes you just have to play along to get along. That's another wisdom moment for you folks. So anyway, on the topic of this video, it's now 23 minutes, almost a half an hour that I've been rambling on here, incessantly talking about all kinds of stuff. Someone might mean something to you, someone might not mean anything to you. Someone might mean something to someone. Somebody out there might see it out there and say, hey, this is something I wish somebody would have told me a long time ago. And this is what I hope to impart into this channel every Sunday. Every Sunday I hope to come on here and put this out for you. I might put mirror versions of this going on the regular My Loonies channel as for people that to find it, but ultimately they will be eventually translated to their own channel, which I hope to launch on Rumble and other platforms, by the way. So I want to be out there and catch as many people as possible to expand my reach. And ultimately, not just promote this, but promote my other ventures. Like, for example, I do things like part of my job, my thing right now is to do delivery of advertising. Something I have kind of done most of my life indirectly while I was attempting to find my way. See? Attempting. It's getting there. It's working. The system works. The word try can be big, but it's not too big to overcome if you don't let it. If you put the work in. So this is what I want to do. I want to put the work in. And then the thing is, I have a business that does advertising delivery for people out there that have ads to deliver in the Ottawa area. Mostly around now in the Marines area and the Overbrook area, because the Overbrook area is where I hearken my current client's business for real estate. I wish to expand and add other clients to that thing and make more money on that so I can have more money to put more into this, which is my hobby right now, more or less. hope to be my business eventually, to being the main part of my business, along with the production of advertising materials and media that my brothers produce, t-shirts and designs and stuff like that. And of course, other people's art and creative wins as well. Because we're a community of people and we have to support each other, but it doesn't mean I can't make a buck off it. I'm getting older. I have to find more creative ways to get the more value out of my time, just like we all do. Because our time is finite and it's valuable to us and to the people that care about us too. So I want to make the best of my time too. And maybe people say, well, you wasted the last 60 years doing all these things. Well, maybe I did waste 60 years, but that was part of my adventure. I didn't know that if somebody would tell me 60 years ago that this would be my life and my adventure, and this is where I would end up at this time, and this is where I would experience and all that, so I would never, like I said to people, I had a thing called How to Write Your Own Life Story. I bought years ago from Years Dutch. I'm long one of the books when I was buying things as an impulse to try and stem my lack of companionship and loneliness, probably. Shopping was my therapy, whether it be retail therapy at the store or going into a mall, doing things, or buying stuff at the online. Like I bought Disney decorations one year, which I still have, by the way. I would almost bought the whole set if I would have let myself go on it, but I eventually did every strand, put them back, send them back. I took the courage and the strength of will to send them back, even though it was compelling. I would love to have had them now. They would have been a great set to have, and it would have been a great thing to decorate my tree with. But I didn't have the money for it. I didn't really can afford them. I didn't really need them. I needed other things in life. I just didn't know what they were, and I just didn't know how to get them. So now I'm tempted to make up for that, using my own wise wisdom to learn from myself and not just learn from others. And like I said, I got the ideas. I want to start doing these businesses. I want to make this an enterprise where I don't necessarily become wealthy. I don't intend to be really wealthy. But if I can help others become enriched in their lives, both financially and emotionally and mentally, that's great. And this enterprise is all about building on my dream and allowing others to become part of the dream. Sharing in the wealth of my wisdom and the wealth of my experience and the wealth of my whatever opportunities I can create for other people. Mutually beneficial type of opportunities where I help them, they help me, and we help each other. Not looking to become Donald Trump, not looking to become Elon Musk, I'm looking to be Mike. Just Mike. Mike and associates. Whoever has associate me, if we work hard and we work hard together and we achieve great things, we all benefit. We build a comfortable life. And that's all I want, a comfortable life. After 60 years, I think I deserve a comfortable life. But I have to, at the same time, recognize the fact that just because I think I deserve it doesn't mean I'm going to get it. I have to put the work in. Nobody else will. Just like you and I all find it out over time. That there's no quick fixes, no quick things. Quick streaming doesn't become fame. Very few people come rich buying lotto tickets, just like very few people come rich from going on the internet and streaming to make instant fame. I don't expect instant fame. If instant fame comes, it comes not because it's instant. It's because of hard work. Just ask Linus. If I ever got the chance to ask Linus and asked him about how long it took him, all the sacrifice he made to get to where he was, I'm sure he'd sit down and more or less tell me, this is a lot of hard work, Mike. It didn't happen overnight. I had a lot of lucky breaks. I had some stumbles along the way. I had great people around me to support me. Both the woman that became my wife and my family and all the friends I could around me. I become a large enterprise. And because now, if you notice the Lions Detective right now, a lot of people left the channel. Why? Because the fact is, being such a, the longer station gets bigger, it ends up heading to a point that you just can't handle all these people being there. They have different aspirations and dreams, and they grow the mold that inspired them, taught them, gave them their fresh start. Some of them stay with the companies. A few that managed, like I can't remember them offhand. 2 or 3 creators are still with the company, working on freelancers and with the company because they could find a way to make it work. They realized they eventually had to be able to figure a balance, so otherwise it would lose more creative people eventually, and then the channel would have to keep rebuilding itself over and over again. I don't want that. I'm looking to ever be Lions Tech big. I want it just big enough for me. Big enough to create a legacy for me and for the people that eventually come after me that take over this channel or this enterprise and make it their own. So, on that note, like I said, this is the inaugural broadcast of Wise Wisdom. That'll be broadcast on my 2 Loonies this time. Hope you like, share, and subscribe. And tell your friends. And if you don't like anything, tell me. Please tell me. If something you don't like, I learn from you. I learn not from me. I can't teach myself anything directly. I can only learn from the people around me that look at me and say, hey, you're doing this right, you're doing this wrong. And I want to help you be better. or I think you totally suck, and you can tell me why you think I totally suck, and that's just fair criticism as well. And it's fair game. I'm putting myself there in the public. People have the right to say good things and all bad things. I had to learn this lesson the hard way over life. But sometimes you don't want to hear the bad things, but sometimes you need to hear the bad things in order to become better. So on that, this is Mike. My 2 is left at the, oh my God, over 30 minutes. We made 30 minutes. We got to 30 minutes. Congratulations to me making 30 minutes. I'm going to put this on the new channel hopefully soon. I'm going to launch a channel with a new logo and that, and new t-shirts coming out, because I'm going to put new t-shirts out. And all this stuff will be put on the store along with a lot of stuff. Once the store is finally put up and built, the website's there, the store physically exists, the building is built, I just had to start moving in the furniture. As I say in the business world, moving in the furniture. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. This is another week of my 2 Loonies, a.k.a. Owl Wise Wisdom. Hope to see you on both channels. Hope to hear from you on both channels. And maybe get the chance to talk to some of you live or on some sort of Skype or whatever we use now these days, Teams or all these Zoom or whatever it is that people use to meet. There's so many different places to meet. On that note, take care, folks. It's going to be put on the channel probably sometime this evening, so it'll be a Monday broadcast for Sunday, and hopefully we'll be placed on a regular Sunday broadcast every Sunday, along with a hopefully weekly, daily show that I'm hoping to put together on the original channel, a more short form type of scripted type of videos eventually. It might not be scripted initially, but I'll attempt to keep the topics brief and concise and on point. And then leave my veteran rants, as people call them, to this channel here where people have the time to actually spend with me and want to listen to what I have to say and maybe become part of the conversation too. On that, take care. See you again next week. Hope to have a podcast, probably do a quick one this afternoon or this evening for the regular channel. A short one, that'll be the original official ones. And that will be the official channel. This will be the one that sort of becomes the inaugural broadcast of the other channel. But it'll be here, and it will also be mirrored here for a little while until the channel is officially launched and enough people have migrated over. And maybe I got some new viewers too. On that, take care, folks. Stay special. Keep up the good fight. Fight for what you believe in. And don't take anything from anybody that you don't think is right. Take care, folks. Bye for now.